We will now do a 100-kilometer test drive in the city and on the freeway to test the fuel-saving effect and to demonstrate that the Magic Chip fuel-saving accelerator activates the hydrocarbons in petrol, achieving the fuel-saving effect. For this test, we will use a car that is less than 1 year old that everyone agrees is very fuel efficient. This is the Toyota 1.5-liter Vios. First, we leave the car for an hour to make sure the car's petrol has settled. We then use a beaker to add the petrol slowly into the tank and rock the car so that petrol completely fills the tank and no petrol fumes remain. We then add the petrol slowly until it overflows the petrol port. Then we rock the car before adding more petrol. This cycle continues until the petrol level does not drop anymore. We then let it stand for half an hour, then reopen the tank and add more petrol. We repeat the cycle of adding petrol slowly while gently rocking the car until the petrol level reaches the brim and does not decrease anymore. To avoid skewing the test results for the city driving test, we turned off the car's air conditioning and stereo before starting the engine. For our route, we chose to brave peak hour traffic on traffic jam-prone Geelong Road and Chengdu Road. A speed of about 20 to 30 kilometers per hour was maintained during the test. Upon returning to the start, we leave the car to stand for an hour again. Then petrol is added to the tank while the car is gently rocked until it overflows. Then the car is rocked before more petrol is added. This cycle continues until the level of petrol no longer drops. We then leave it to stand for half an hour. After half an hour, the cycle is repeated. When the level no longer drops, we calculate the kilometers traveled with the amount of petrol added. For our 45-kilometer drive in the city, the car used 6.2 liters of petrol for an average of 7.25 kilometers per liter. Now we do the 100-kilometer highway driving test. First, we go on National Freeway number 3 to the Jijin interchange where the kilometer marker is 0 kilometers. We let the car stand for an hour. After an hour, we slowly add petrol into the tank. As before, we keep rocking the car, then add petrol until the petrol level doesn't drop anymore. We then wait another half an hour. Then we open the petrol tank, we add the petrol slowly, and then we repeat the rocking motion until the petrol reaches the brim and no longer drops. We then start the engine for the 100-kilometer highway driving test. Starting from the Jijin interchange on the National Freeway number 3, we change at the Hsinchu interchange to National Freeway number 1 and get off at the Hsinchu exit. At our destination, we let the car stand for an hour again. After an hour, we add petrol slowly until it doesn't drop in level. Then we rock the car, we leave it for 30 minutes, and then repeat the above action until the level of the petrol doesn't drop any further. Once we've done that, we start calculating the kilometers and petrol added. Before using the Magic Chip fuel-saving accelerator, the distance was 109 kilometers. 6.3 liters of petrol was used for an average of 17.3 kilometers per liter. After working out the fuel consumption, we install the Magic Chip fuel-saving accelerator and let the car stand for 30 minutes, so that it can activate the molecules in the petrol. After 30 minutes, we start the engine and return to our origin by the same route. We let the car stand for an hour again. We repeat the petrol adding and rocking and then let it stand for 30 minutes. Then more petrol is added until it no longer drops in level. We then calculated the kilometers and petrol added for a distance of 108 kilometers. After using the Magic Chip fuel-saving chip accelerator, fuel consumption was 4.7 kilometers for an average of 23 kilometers per liter. This was a 32% gain in performance.